Fascia. So what is fascia and how to improve your sports performance using the understanding of fascia. So I'm going to talk about this whole topic and discuss it into certain pointers. So make sure to stay tuned, and before starting with the video, make sure to subscribe to this channel and drop a like so I could come up with more new and more interesting topics like this. So let's get straight away into the video. So this video is going to be a very detailed video on fascia. What is fascia, and what are the concepts of it. So I have divided it into different parts. I have literally a list over here. I'll read it out to you. But here we go. We are going to start with defining fascia. What is fascia? And the history of fascia, where did I got an understanding of fascia, and then coming to something called as fascia tensegrity, the model of tensegrity. I'm not going to go into details because there's a lot to speak on that, but then I will go focusing on the key points, how to improve your sports performance using this understanding of fascia. Okay, I'll talk about fascia training, what it is and what it is not. Okay, and then I will that's I will talk more on the tools of fascia training. Okay, so let's start with what is fascia. So fascia is a continuous layer of connective tissue. It is a sheath of connective tissue which is made out of collagen and elastin fibers, and it also is held together with some glue-like substance which is called a ground substance. Okay, so it is just like sheets of connective tissue which are stuck together with some sticky substance which holds it together, and the stickiness of this ground substance varies. If it is more sticky, the movement is restricted, and if it is less sticky, the movement is in a flow state, right? So that is a common understanding of fascia. There is a bookish definition also. So how did I got to know about this thing, fascia system and all that? How did I get curious to buy this large book? Okay, so how did I get curious? So I learned about fascia while I was doing my special population certification in personal training. So I got introduced to something called as fascia specific mobility drills and fascia specific compound stretches. And then because of my teacher who taught me this, I got introduced to this author and anatomist called, his name is Thomas Mayers. All right, so Thomas Mayers has written a famous book on this topic on movement science which is called Anatomy Trains, and Anatomy Trains is one of the books which gave me a clarity on what is fascia and gave me an understanding. So what Thomas Mayers talks about in that book Anatomy Trains is basically he gives you an understanding of how this fascia system was overlooked because of the modern anatomist. When you make anatomy books, so let's suppose you want to show the striations, because the skeletal muscle is a stripped muscle or called striated muscles. So if you want to show the muscles of the pectoralis major, you have the clavicular head, the sternocostal head. So when you want to show the striations, what you have to do is to remove the skin and also to remove that covering which is called the myofascia, the fascia above the muscle. Okay, superficial myofascia and the deep we have to remove that layer, and they used to throw it into the dustbin. So we did not get an understanding of what this covering was and how did it work, and we missed out on this huge system called as the fascia system in anatomy books. But Thomas Mayers knew this was happening and there was a gap which needed to be bridged. So what he did, he took the scalpel on, he went and dissected the cadavers, he made different kind of incisions, slits, okay, using the scalpel in a different way, through which he did not throw away the fascia, and he restored it in a way through which he defined them as certain myofascial meridians or myofascial lines. So there is something called as the anterior line fascia, superficial and deep anterior line, posterior line which is behind posterior of the body, lateral line sideways, laterally, runs laterally, then there is front arm line, okay, arm line this way, and then there is something called a spiral line which goes across the body from right hand to left leg. It runs across the body. So all these meridians were classified by Thomas Mayer in his book Anatomy Trains. And now there is this topic where this is how I got to know about this topic. It intrigued me a lot because it showed how your body works as one single cohesive unit and is not something which is just a mechanical thing in nature. Now coming to that thing, I'll talk about biotensegrity, okay, fascial tensegrity. So tensegrity model of kinesiology is an understanding which was coined by and designed by R. Buckminster Fuller. Okay, this was the person who designed this model of tensegrity. It is based upon tension and integrity. Tensegrity. Okay, so it gives challenge to the conventional understanding of kinesiology and biomechanics, which is based upon Newtonian and you could say a mechanical model which is based upon Newtonian physics, the pulley lever system and the compressive forces like bricks stacked upon each other, and the lever system. Example here, the bicep brachii, the origin is somewhere over the shoulder, okay, and somewhere on the ulna the insertion is there. So what happens is that when the insertion comes toward the origin, there is movement happening, bicep flexion, okay, elbow flexion. All right, this is what understanding of fascia, not fascia, of the mechanical model is. But the conventional model was, you can say, challenged by this fascial tensegrity model, which says and states that this body is one cohesive unit and this fascia system is like a exoskeleton. It's like a spandex suit over this body which gives it tensegrity and tension and integrity which gives it structure and everything, and tension keeps the tension on, and because of this tension plus integrity, movement is made possible. Okay, so yes, what happens, origin moves towards insertion, but there is much more thing happening over it because of the fascia system. So it is a brief topic and it is a detailed topic to go into and learn about. So tensegrity is an engineering term where this model is, in which you could find tensegrity model which Thomas Mayer defines in his videos. You should check those videos out. I will link them in the description if possible. So what he does, these layers in which the sticks are there and the tension is there through the strings, not the sticks. So these sticks, even if the bone, let's suppose these sticks are bones, you remove the bone, the tension still is there. But obviously you can't remove the bone without removing the tension, because then you have to put incisions into the body and then remove the bone, which also tears the fascia system. Then you have to weave it again, which doesn't actually weave and stick together like it was in its natural state. But now this fascia tensegrity is a model which you could look into. But how will we use this understanding into improving a sports performance? So now let's go on to something called as fascia training. Okay, fascia training, everything, the trend is about fascia training. Even I was using this word, but then I got the clarity that fascia training is not the right term to use. The reason being, fascia training, there is no such thing as fascia training. Movement is moving your fascia. When you move, your movement is then possible because of your fascia. Okay, because there is this tensegrity, you are able to move. So just like that, when you train for anything, you do gym workout, you do plyometrics, you do sprinting, which is plyometrics again, you do yoga, it's all training your fascia in a different way. So fascia training is movement. So there is no specific training to be trained to train your fascia. Movement is fascia training in itself. So to use this word as a fad, fascia training is just bullshit. Okay, so let's say we do training by understanding the concept of fascia and fascial tensegrity. So when we say this, we have a different perspective towards this topic. Okay, we are not just putting some exercises and saying that this is fascia training. Okay, we have an understanding of it. Now how to put it into place? So how to improve your sports performance using fascia or using the understanding of this fascia system? So there are three things important, okay, to start with. Four things you could say. So the first one is your nutrition and hydration. Okay, and nutrition and hydration is something which is very important for keeping the fascia healthy. If you eat the right food, if you have ample amount of water, if you're hydrated enough, the electrolyte balance is good enough, your fascia is healthy. Okay, this is the first one. The second one is your environment. So are you getting enough sunlight? Okay, are you earthing? Let's suppose, are you grounding? Are you in the natural environment, or are you living in a place which has air pollution, a lot of dust? So what is your environment like? If your environment is very good, close to the nature, you will be molded by nature, your fascia will be very healthy, you will be able to move freely and in turn improve your sports performance as well. Now the third thing is your foundation. The foundation here is your foot, the arch of the foot, how healthy is your foot and how healthy is your foot biomechanics. Are your toes played out or just crumbled inside? What kind of shoes you are wearing? Do you have enough tactile feedback through the feet? Do you have your sensation through the feet? How will you get it? By exposing your feet to mud, dust, grass and dirt. Like literally the natural surfaces, the natural turfs. I don't mean the synthetic turfs, the natural turfs, grass turfs, grounds, hard ground and everything. So when you expose it to that surface, and don't wear shoes every time, only wear shoes when it is necessary, and don't just stay on the concrete and wear shoes, marble flooring and wear shoes, and you expose yourself to the nature. That is how you're going to improve your fascia health from the ground up, because everything starts below from the feet. If your feet are healthy, obviously if your plantar fascia is healthy, everything is going to translate, because it is whole one cohesive unit. All right, that is what it is. Then the fourth one, the most important one, is the most simple one. To sum it up in to sum everything up in one sentence: motion is lotion. Okay, motion is lotion, that's simple. Movement is the key. Movement is Amrit in Hindi, or you could say what is Amrita? What is the English word for Amrit? Movement is basically gold, or something which will make you healthier. If you move more, because if you don't move, you don't use it, you lose it. All right, I'm just coming up with these figures of speech. You use it or you lose it and all that stuff. But movement is the key. If you are sitting like this on the chair all the time and you don't move, don't play any sport, or just even go out in the natural environment and expose yourself to the world, to the real world, then sorry bro, nothing is going to happen. You are going to decrease your fascia health and degrade your fascia health. So that is what you need to stay focused on. Motion is lotion, the last one. And there is a lot more to be learned about fascia, a lot more to be learned about fascial tensegrity, but I think this was something which I could give you precisely in this video. But there is a lot more, right? So what I'm asking you to do is, if you want to learn more, I have a free guide which is called a Fascia Foundation. Fascia Foundation is free guide created by me. It is first link in the description. So if you want to get that free Fascia Foundation guide, you can go in the link which is in the description. It will take you to my website. All I ask from you is a email. So once you give me your email, it will sign you up for my email list and give you the guide on email. It will send it to you in 4 or 5 minutes. Till that you will be going into my funnel, sales funnel, you could say that, and it will show you my paid courses. If you wish to sign up for those paid courses, or if you find any value, you can get signed up for them, and I'll be waiting for you on those paid courses. Or even you will get that, obviously the free guide which you will get, there will be a lot of knowledge. So you could go and read the free guide and get an understanding of what is fascia and how you can improve, and then you decide then that you could get more value. Then you could always buy into the paid courses which I offer. So I'm looking forward for for you to have a visit and have a look at the free guide, which is going to be a lot of value for you. And I think that is it for the video. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another video tomorrow. Till that, bye bye, take care.